Good day all. You are welcome again to your lovely program, Banking Helpdesk, reaching you from the glorious Vision Television. Thank you for joining us again. And today, we promise you a good deal. Yeah, like we have always been doing. I want to thank you for being with us always, and we believe you are enjoying us. This is a station to be, of course, because of the class and the quality. So today, we are coming with a topic entirely different from what we have been giving you in the past. And the topic is multiple exchange rate. Multiple exchange rate. When we say multiple, it means something that is not unified. It's not single. We have divers of the brand in the basket. So, in order to get a vivid understanding of what we are talking about, multiple exchange rate, there are two keywords there. The first one is multiple. Second one is exchange rate. Now, before we go on and on to give you from the heart of what we have today, we will explain the compound term, multiple exchange rate. What is exchange rate? Without talking much, exchange rate is talking about the rate at which a country's local currency is exchanged for another one. The rate at which a country's local currency is exchanged for another one. Now, note that currencies are mostly national currency. Currencies are mostly national because we have few currencies that can cross the borders of their country. Yet, those currencies that can cross the borders of their countries are still local currency in their countries. But because of the economic development of their various countries, they have become internationally recognized. And that is why they could be spent outside their homeland. Again, I take it, exchange rate is the rate at which a country's local currency is exchanged for another one. Now, when we say multiple, what is multiple exchange rate? Multiple exchange rate is when a system, or let me say, it's a system that is used or that is applied when a country uses more than one exchange rate to convert her currency with other countries. More than one exchange rate. You know, in Nigeria before now, $1 maybe is equal to 1,000 naira. But when we are talking of multiple exchange rates, within the same system, dollar could be exchanged for 1,100 naira. I'm talking of official rate. Could be exchanged for 1,000 to 900 naira. Now, a further explanation will give you a good understanding of what I'm talking about. In the time of economic crisis and exchange rate ripples, multiple exchange rates can be used as stated below, in relation with classes of goods and services. In relation with classes of goods and services. Now, take for example, in India, rupees is their local currency. Now, let us assume that gold is very key, very essential in India's economy. But exchange rate is hindering free flow of this transaction, that is transaction on gold. Now, in case of, in the interest of the national economy, a multiple exchange rate can be adopted for transactions on gold and some other key commodities. Now, where official rates and unofficial rates are as follows. Let's assume official rate of $1 in India is 10,000 rupees. And the unofficial rate, that is the black market rate, is 15,000 rupees to $1. Introduction of this exchange rate, that is multiple exchange rate system, can bring the rate for gold alone to 1 to 7,000 for official and 7,500 rupees for unofficial. That is carefully administered in the interest of the local economy. Meanwhile, if there are other important commodities like flour for making bread, Ovaltine, that is the tea, and frozen foods, then a kind of exchange rates, discriminatory exchange rates, can as well be adopted for those ones. But don't forget, if gold is what crude oil, if gold in India is what crude oil is to us in Nigeria, then the interest of the progress of our economy or India economy, they can adopt multiple exchange rates. We are just citing India as an example, because India economy is a growing economy and is fast catching up. Don't be surprised very soon. India economy could be one of the world developed economies. It's catching up so fast. Gold, I'm not saying gold, we are just citing it as an example. Let's assume gold is their major commodity. But the transactions of gold are not really okay. Introduction of multiple exchanges can ease the burden of transaction of gold. Now, we can discuss further that since the commodities mentioned few minutes ago, like flour, Ovaltine, and frozen foods, are also important in Indian economy for the purpose of this topic, which is assumed to be an importing economy. An importing economy. Then, other kind of exchange rates, which are also discriminatory, but are not restricted to official rate of $1 to 10,000 rupees official and 15,000 rupees are unofficial. Now, since they are important consumables, that is those three additional commodities, we can have the followings for flour. That is $1 is equal to 7,100 official rates for flour and 7,300 rupees for black market. For Vatin, we can have $1 to 7,200 official and $1 to 7,400 unofficial. And for frozen foods, which Indians must consume, we can have 1,000 to, we can have $1 to 8,000 rupees official rate and $1 to 8,500 rupees unofficial rate. So, introduction of multiple exchange rate system, like I said the other time, is quite needed in time of economic crisis and exchange rate ripples, where things are stagnated, where economy is not moving. In the time of hyperinflation in the local economy, this could serve as a way out. Now, a careful observation here shows that gold is the most favored commodity in the local economy of India for the purpose of our example. That is, it is lower than the others. Exchange rate in terms of adoption of multiple rates for gold is lower than those of flours, Ovaltine, and frozen foods. Now, we want to now bring it to our local economy. About 2-3 months ago, you discovered that the price of crude oil went down. Sorry, the price of the pump price of petrol went down, and everybody knew. Now, let's be practical. We have a private local refinery in Nigeria, and we have a government refinery. Now, initially, it was expected that the commissioning of the private local refineries will inject more petrol into the system and force down the price of the imported stuff that was being done by NNPC. But lo and behold, the situation became even more critical with the commissioning of the local private refinery. Now, at a point, as I'm telling you, the reason why the price went down. At a point, the government, through the administration of foreign exchange rates, that is our exchange rate, was no longer left in the hand of forces of demand and supply. So what happened? They introduced what? Multiple exchange rates. That is, for petrol, they selected an exchange rate. Sorry, I don't want to give you wrong information. I did not know what rate they adopted, but they adopted a favorable exchange rate by which the NNPC was supplying under the multiple exchange rate system, and the other private refinery was forced as a competitor to blend with what the NNPC was doing. try to understand this. The official exchange rate, dollar to naira and vice versa, remain official. But for petroleum products, which we must use, which must touch every aspect of the economy, a multiple exchange rate system was introduced. So the dealers can now tap into that, buy from the refinery, supply at a lower rate because it was favorable for the transactions on petroleum pump price or petroleum product. The petroleum pump price was favorably affected in the interest of the general populace. And that is what has brought down the pump price of petroleum products, especially petrol. So if you are wondering that why is it that suddenly the pump price of petrol went down, that was the magic behind it. You know, there was a time it was selling for 1,002, 1,004. Some were even selling 1,005. That was when the exchange rate was left purely in the hand of forces of demand and supply. But a concerned government rose up and did something. And it wasn't a magic. It was a kind of managed exchange rate system where they deemed it fit to introduce what could make things favorable and easy for the citizenry. So, application of multiple exchange rates is an effective management tools in the time of exchange rate crisis to make commodity prices affordable. That is essential commodity prices affordable. Try to understand again the summary of the whole thing. Exchange rate system multiple exchange rate system can summarily be explained as an exchange rate system that can be introduced in time of economic crisis and exchange rate ripples, where the country is drifting towards hyperinflation situation. And they are useful to make the important commodities affordable. That will not change the official exchange rate on all other commodities. But for important commodity like petrol, multiple exchange rate was adopted. And finally, there was a sharp drop in the price. We still have price variation up to now because all the stations are not selling at the same price. No. But at least the ceiling price is really not more than, say, 1,100. Unlike before, when it was between 1,002 to 1,004. And some even went as far as 1,005. It is a managed exchange rate system, an effective tool in the hand of the government to make sure that essential commodities are available to the citizenry at the affordable price. So let's assume we have a producing economy. This might not be necessary. But because our economy is a monoproduct economy, one, it's an import-based economy. Two, and three, we solely rely on a single commodity. for our daily life, daily economy and national life. So as we close this episode, I hope you have gotten it, that the sharp drop or a marginal drop in the price of economy at the local front was not a result of any magic, but multiple exchange rate system. As you continue to join us on this lovely station, we promise to be giving you what you need in terms of banking education. So for today, I'm saying goodbye. And this is GVTV and your lovely program, Banking Helpdesk. Cheers.